What's up, YouTube? It's Zach with the Underground. I am here, kind of on a change pace here. I'm coming back to a deck profile for you. But I'm kind of doing a little bit of an unconventional deck profile, I suppose. Or maybe just kind of a more of a tweak, I guess, on kind of a popular deck right now. I am coming at you with a profile of Dragonsworn. And not for you, go haywire on me here. Not Chaos Dragons just with Lilas and Raikos. I'm talking legitimate Lightsworn engine, like legitimate Lightsworns with the Chaos Dragons. Kind of more, I guess, along the lines of Alexander Reed's kind of idea. So I guess I'll just stop talking and show you. It's a little easier that way. So let's get right to it, shall we? Alright, as per usual, 3 Lila, 3 Raiko. Yes, I know only one's gold, it bothers me too. 2 Lumina. Lumina is really good just for dumping cards out of your hand that you don't need, or loading your grave up for the number of Lightsworns that you need for your Judgment Dragon plays. 1 Jane to get over Thunder Kings and things of the like. Aaron to get rid of Zenmaines, Maestroke, Reaper, or just face downs that you don't want to worry about. And my last Lightsworn, 1 Arcus. Now, I know you guys are automatically confused that I'm playing Arcus. Let me kind of explain his worth here. For 1, he's a 3-star with 1800 defense. That's really nice. 2, his effect is really good. For Arcus, he basically says that you cannot target any Lightsworns with effects. So you can't compulse them, you can't bottomless them, you can't, do anything like that. Can't DP. That's really nice. But the other big thing about him is that he is 3 stars, which means you can use him with Lumina to make a rank 3. That's really good. That's really nice. One thing that you will see as I keep going through this profile is that I do not play tour guides. I do not play the tour guide engine, and I don't play Sangan. So this is kind of more of my rank 3 access, but I don't really need to rely on the extra deck at all, and you'll see why as I keep going through. Obviously, because I'm playing the Lightsworns, Triple Judgment Dragon, I'll explain why I play 3 as I get through the deck, because a lot of you guys are wondering how I could play 3 consistently in this deck. I'll show you. Next, I play 3 Light Ray Daedalus. That one might be a little confusing to you guys. I'll go ahead and go over him real quick. Light Ray Daedalus can be special summoned if you have 4 or more light monsters in your graveyard. He's a 7-star, 2600 swing. That's really nice. The other thing that's really great about him is that if you're playing a deck that relies on field spells, his effect becomes awesome, which is basically target a field spell and 2 other cards of the field, destroy them. That's really, really powerful against decks like Prophecies, against decks like Necro Valley, Gravekeepers, anything that really relies on a field spell to do a lot of work. This guy just goes ham. So I play 3 of him. Unfortunately, he's a Sea Serpent, not a dragon. That's kind of the only drawback to him. I could play Light Ray Diablos, but I really just don't find him as consistent, and you can't special him with Red MD anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Next, Double Card Trooper. I know one's Ultra, one's Common. Bothers me. Things I can't deal with right now. Whatever. Double Card Trooper. Kind of need him. Next, Dragon Engine. Eclipse Wyvern. He's really not that bad to draw, honestly, because there's so many ways you can dump him out of your hand. And also, he's a level 4, so you can exceed with him if you really need to. And please, guys, please know, his effect does go off if he's detached as an exceed material. God, it's so painful having people on Dueling Network tell me it doesn't go off. Guys, it does. Yeah, Eclipse Wyvern needs to happen. Next, obviously, 3 Light Pulsars. I only play 1 Dark Flare. The reason I only play 1 Dark Flare is because people use Dark Flare as basically a milling engine. It's their way to get the Doctor into the grave. And as you can, clearly tell, I don't have a problem milling. So I only really need one of him. He's just a good alternative dark target to Red MD if Red MD isn't in the grave and Light Pulsar dies. So, got him. Then obviously the Doctor, and then Dark Armed. So that's the dragons. Next, because of the number of lights, I'm getting to the hand traps now, by the way. Number of lights, play Honest. It's German. It's pretty. Love it. Yeah, Honest, Gores, Double Trag. I mean, pretty self-explanatory here. And then Chaos Sorcerer, BLS. And then the next two monsters are kind of unexpected, but if you think about it, it's really what just makes this deck boss. Double Phantom of Chaos. Phantom of Chaos means Judgment Dragon is never dead. Even if you happen to, mill off one of your JDs, activate Phantom of Chaos, pay 1,000 life points, kill your opponent's entire side of the field, and then just go crazy. Phantom of Chaos can also be used as literally any monster in the entire freaking deck, which is fantastic. So, if BLS gets milled off, banish BLS. Chaos Sorcerer, like Dark Armed, Red MD, literally anything. Card Trooper, Lila, JD, Phantom of Chaos is ridiculously solid in this deck for its ability to become anything that's in your grave. It's really, really powerful. So I played two of him. And that concludes the monsters. I play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 spells. That's 34 monsters, I think. I play 41 cards. Charge. I mean, Lightsworns. 3 Soul Recharge, Lightsworns. And then Dark Hole, Heavy, Reborn. That's all I play as far as spells and traps. The big thing for this deck that you guys ought to know is that I can bait anything with this deck. I can bait any back row whatsoever. I can push through pretty much any back row with this deck. I don't main MSTs because I've got 3 Lilas and 3 Raikos. I don't main MSTs because I can fake through bottomlesses with Light Ray Daedalus because he's a scary 2600 beater. And, I can force warnings with Phantom of Chaos and then just go ham. The ability to just make plays on top of plays on top of plays is really solid. Now, I don't actually really have an extra deck for this deck because I've never really found much of a use in having an extra deck, with the exception of, the very occasional having to make, a rank 3 or a rank 4 to get out of something. But overall, I really don't need much of an extra deck. Just in terms of rank 3s and ranks 4s, Leviair, Leviathan, Tempo, Zen mains, those are the only 3s that I really find even remotely necessary in this deck at all, except, maybe Giga Brilliant, but if you're exceeding, you really probably don't need Giga Brilliant, so that's all you really need as far as 3s. And as far as 4s go, Black Ship, Marrowgist, Maestroke, Pap. These are the only 4s that I actually consider even remotely necessary in the format, to be honest, besides Shockmaster. And I don't play him in here, honestly, because I'm not going to have 3 4s on the field usually. These guys are pretty obvious to you guys in all likelihood, so I don't really need to talk about these guys. So I'll just talk about these two. Black Ship just came out in the manga. Came out with the manga. He's rank 4, 2100 attack, 1500 defense, needs 2 level 4s, and once per turn you can detach a material to target one monster your opponent controls with attack less than or equal to his, so 2100 or less, and send that monster to the graveyard. And he can't attack during the turn you activate this effect. So this guy is a 1-card burn. Oh, also, send it to the graveyard and inflict 1,000 points of damage. How could I forget the burn? Jeez. This guy is a 1-card answer to Zen mains, to Maestroke, to Spirit Reaper, just anything that is 1500 or 2100 or less and happens to be getting in your way, this guy takes care of. And then last but not least, Evagishki Marrowgist. You guys are probably thinking I'm crazy about this for, even thinking about this guy. He's a rank 4, needs 2 level 4s, 2100 attack, 1600 defense. After damage calculation, if Marogus destroys the opponent's monster by battle, you can detach an Xyz material from him to shuffle the monster back into the deck instead of sending it to the graveyard. So if he destroys a monster by battle and you think it's a bad idea for that thing to go to a graveyard, so if it's a recruiter, if it's Sangan, or if it's just something that you think your opponent shouldn't have in the graveyard, you use this guy, put it back. I find him really, really incredibly useful in getting around stuff like Abyssland, as I said, Abyssland, Sangan, any recruiter really. He's just fantastic to get around. This guy solo beats X-Sabers when they're just playing defense. Yeah, he just solo takes down Sabers if they can't draw a monster other than, you know, Emmer's Blade or Dark Soul. He's wonderful. Yeah, I think that's really it for the rank 4s. You can play, you know, choice 5s, or like, I don't really think you'd need a 5 in here because I only play Darkflare. But, you know, you can pick your 6 if you want to, a Tom, Strike Bouncer, Exabeetle, whatever. You could play, because you're playing 8s, you can play Heretic Dragon, King Heliopolis, you know. You can play Big Eye because your Light Ray Daedalus are both 7s, so you can make Big Eye with a couple of these. That play actually alone wins you some games. Yeah, there's just, you don't really need an extra deck because obviously you're packing a whole bunch of get through everything kind of cards between, you know, Dark Arm, these guys, JD, and all that jazz. You don't really need an extra deck, but, you know, it's basically at your own discretion. Side deck is basically your own call in terms of like what you think you're going to struggle with. I know in terms of matches where you are going to be playing a deck that relies on the graveyard, you can't play Macro in this deck, you can't play Soul Drain, it's just not a good idea. But what you can play is Kaiku. Kaiku will win you games against other decks that need the graveyard. 1800 attack, when he inflicts battle damage to your opponent, pick up to 2 cards in your opponent's graveyard and remove them from play. So you can make stuff like Mullen Glacias, you can stop them from being live, you can stop you know, lights and darks engraved, you can stop Avarices from being live, you can do all that jazz with Kaiku, so he's pretty cool. The other monster I would obviously say to side is Thunder King. Thunder King, because, you know, reasons, obvious reasons. Just kind of kills everything in the format, or at least slows everything down. And he really just doesn't slow you down. Thunder King, because your only real searching card is this guy. And other than that, you really just don't search the deck, like, at all. You just draw through it and mill through it and do all sorts of dirty, nasty tricks to run through your deck. But, yeah, Thunder King doesn't inhibit you, so play him. Yeah, I think that's more or less everything about that deck. I guess I owe it to you guys to explain why I picked to run this version of Chaos Dragons over regular Chaos Dragons. It's honestly because I think that my main man right here, Judgment Dragon, is ridiculously powerful, even now, and it's just kind of depressing to see how Lightsworns are popular, but not. Like, it's not really even Lightsworns. That Lila and Raikou are popular, but Lightsworns aren't. I don't know. Doesn't make much sense to me. But yeah, I decided to make a build that could exploit the hell out of this guy. So, yeah. I think that's all I got for you. See ya.